Okay, a 1952 Studebaker Deluxe champion, and this is Mike Pulaski. And Mike, you're from where, Livonia? How long have you owned this car?
34 years. 34. No, when I bought it, it was pretty dull and had snow type. No, it's all original paint. I just polished it. Clean and polished. A lot of mechanical work.
It's a great looking car. Tell us, Ed and Bob. Oh, wait a minute. Before you tell us, this man here's car is the one that won the Judge's Choice Award, so congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing it. Tell us about it.
So in May 1946, Studebaker introduced their first post-war all-new car. In fact, it was advertised as first by far with a post-war car. And many people would make the comment, is it coming or going, because of the unusual shape and profile of the vehicle. They had record sales in 1948 to 50, also record profits. This 1952 is the last year for that 46 to 52 body. It replaced the bullet nose models, of which everybody's probably very familiar, of 50 to 51, with the very low slung air intake on this particular model. Starting in 51, the champions and the commanders shared 115-inch wheelbase, and the only difference essentially was that the champions remained 6-cylinder cars and the commanders used the new Studebaker V8.
Thank you for bringing it. Come on, guys, get those cars up here. Come on, bring them up. Both of them.
Well, that is a good looking Studebaker.
Right here. Bring it up.
This is the one.
Oh, I love these cars.
This is the one.
These were way, way ahead of their time. May I see your window card, please? Okay, we've got a 53 Studebaker Starlight Coupe. Conrad Zungenhagen from Ann Arbor, Michigan. You bought this car here in the past, haven't you? First time? Yep. How do you... Oh, you just didn't bring this car. I knew you looked familiar. So anyway, tell us about the car, guys.
So in 1953, Studebaker was due for an all-new car, and in the process of developing the vehicles, they had a relatively high and square-looking sedan proposal and had a very low-sleep coupe proposal. Harold Vance at the time was running Studebaker and asked that they keep the coupe proposal running, and it proved to be so appealing to Studebaker management and the board of directors that they decided to introduce the coupes and come up with a sedan version of the coupes, which were higher and on a shorter wheelbase. The coupes were extremely attractive to the market, and the coupe production mix was way higher than anybody expected. It was also a very difficult car to assemble, and they had essentially created 2 all-new cars for 1 year. And as a consequence, they had tremendous production difficulties, which ultimately they ironed out, but it was to the severe hurt of their profitability that year.
Thank you for bringing it, sir. You can pull ahead. Bring this red beauty up here. Come on, guys, stay right behind him. Stay right in line. Okay, we've got a 55 Studebaker champion coupe. This is Martin Leavitt from Northville, Michigan. Martin, how long have you owned this car?
1987 is when I bought it.
Did you do any of the work on it yourself?
Sorry to say I didn't. That's the way it came. Yeah.
It's a beauty. You got good taste. Tell us about it, guys.
So as you can see from this car, it's a minor updating of the 53 that just passed ahead of it. It had a what they referred to as a jet air intake for the front end, a very low-slung air intake. 1950s, particularly 55, was the start of chrome everything. And as you can see, this car is much more heavily trimmed with bright work than the 53, which just passed us. Again, the champions were exclusively 6-cylinder models. The commanders and the presidents were using the Studebaker V8. The sales were better than in 54, but unfortunately still down versus their pre-war or their record in the 46 to 52 period. They placed 13th in sales, and their financials were in terrible shape, which led to the consolidation of all Studebaker and Packard production at South Bend in 1957.
Thank you for bringing it. Go ahead and pull it
a familiar face. Harvey, where's your window card? A 71 Avante 2 Sports Coupe. Harvey Schnitzer also volunteers at our museum, and Harvey's from Canton. How long have you owned this car now?
Had it for 10 years.
This is powered by what, a 350 General Motors engine? Yeah. Tell us about these cars.
So in 1961, Sherwood Egbert became president of Studebaker, and he decided that they needed an image vehicle to combat the terrible public image Studebaker had at that time, which was a car company pretty certain to go out of business at some point. So he commissioned Raymond Loewy and in turn 3 of Raymond Loewy's designers to produce in less than a month a proposal for a fiberglass body car of this nature. It was originally targeted to be introduced in 1962, but production problems with the fiberglass delayed volume until 1963, and as a consequence, the early buzz about the car had significantly dissipated. When Studebaker moved to Canada in 1964, they dropped the Avante, and then in 1965, near the end of the year, Nate Altman, who was a Studebaker dealer in South Bend, said he would like to buy all the tooling and parts for the Avante and reintroduce it, which he did in the fall of 1965 as a 1966 model. This particular model is a 1971 version. They built about 117 that year, which was pretty much their volume until 1983 on an annual basis, until Stephen Blake took the company over and tried to make it a higher volume specialty car. Certainly a niche vehicle, but one which has shown tremendous durability in terms of its appearance over the number of years since it's been built.
That's good right there. Another Avante 2. This is an 84, and it's owned by Warren and Kathy Godlow, and they're from Livonia. Did you drive this car here?
Yes. Oh yeah, it's smooth riding
How long have you owned it?
since Christmas.
Anything you'd like to add about the first one being just like this one?
So actually there are a couple differences here which was significant to the future of the car. As I mentioned, Stephen Blake bought the company in 1982. He decided to update the car with obviously integrated bumpers front and rear, but most importantly he decided to use a new paint, urethane paint, which unfortunately proved to not be durable, and the cars would literally have their paint peeled off. All the cars for 1983 essentially had to be repainted by the company, and as a consequence it hit financial rocks, and from then on a number of companies tried to make a go of Avante up through 1990, but 1983 was pretty much the nail in the coffin of a successful Avante business.
Thank you, sir. You can pull her ahead. Let's bring that thing up here. Come on, guys. When you bring a car up through passenger